Hey YouTube, it's Annabelle. So welcome to VEDA day number 23, and today's Mommy Tips video is going to be on how we are teaching our daughter about nature and the environment. And so I wanted to do this video quick to kind of tell you what we've been doing and what we've been kind of introducing my daughter to over the last year. Now, last year my daughter was about 18 months old, so it was just kind of exploring different things and looking around. But this year, for the spring, summer, and here going into the fall, she is remembering more things and she's more involved in what we are doing. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about how we kind of do things. Now with nature, we have talked about animals and things with her in the past. We also talk about what they eat, where they live. We have books on where animals live, what animal eats what, and just different things like that. She's seen picture books, she's seen movies about animals, and we talk about animals when we are on walks, or if we go to the zoo. We talk about all the animals and things like that that are there and where they come from, and kind of just all that kind of stuff with animals, and with trees and plants and things like that. We've been going over things like shrubs and bushes and trees and grass and just anything that is plants and living. So flowers. Now, how we have done some hands-on activities with planting things is we do have a compost tumbler that my daughter, we will gather up all of our kitchen scraps and things like that, and we do compost. So she knows where our compost has to go. She knows what things can go in the compost and what things cannot. So she helps put things in the compost, and she helps spin the tumbler. And then this year, we actually got to use our compost in our garden pots. Now, she helped me mix up the soil with the compost stuff that we have been making for a whole year, and she got to put it in the buckets. She got to get all messy and all dirty, and it was just fabulous. She loved it. And we talked about worms and different things like that, and when it rains, the worms will come up from the ground and the birds will just be all over them trying to pluck them out of the ground. So one day when we were planting, there was birds pulling worms out, and it was just fantastic. I could not have planned it more perfect. But we talked about worms and how worms live in the dirt and things like that, and we planted seeds in the dirt, and she came out and she watered all of our plants with us. She waters them almost every day. She has her little watering can. We either use the hose or a big watering can, and we fill up her little watering can, and she gets to go water our bushes and our trees, and she'll water the grass and just all different kinds of plants. This year we did watermelon and pumpkin. We did peppers and green peppers and onions and tomatoes. We did cherry tomatoes also. I think I'm just going to do cherry tomatoes next year. It's awesome. She loves to go to the vine and say, oh, this one's still orange, I can't eat that one, but this one's red, I can eat that one, and she'll pluck it right off and she'll eat it. Now my daughter won't eat tomatoes if we slice them up, a big tomato, slice it up and put it on the table. She's like, no, I don't want that. But these cherry tomatoes that we did in a pot this year, she loves them, and she will just pop them in her mouth. We also have asparagus, and we have beans and peas and cucumbers, and I did do herbs in little pots, and the sun fried them up. So we talked about how they got too much sun, and that the sun burned them up pretty much. So she got to see some of our plants not make it, but she's had been able to eat things out of the garden. So she watched them from a little seed, and we always talk about kind of the stages thing, where you put the seed in the ground, and then the seed sprouts, and then it'll slowly get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you get the fruit or the vegetable off of that plant, and you can eat it. And that we don't eat leaves off of trees and just different things like that. So she's really good about saying if there's a stem on something, she's like, oh, we don't eat that part. And it's amazing to see. And so she's been asking about stuff that we don't grow, but that we do buy in the store. So she was like, well, there's a banana bush. And I'm like, well, no, bananas grow on trees. And so I actually just went on the internet and I just looked up like banana tree and like went on there, and she's like, oh, it's a tree. And like she was just so fascinated with it, that that's where it comes from. She's really into that right now. And so by talking about like nature and where animals live and where our plants come from and like where our food comes from, she's kind of learning about nature and all of that it has to offer. She's seen like pictures of volcanoes and just different things like that. I'm planning on like making flashcards of like different like natural disasters and things like that. Because we have an older child that we do a play with date with, and so she was like scared to death of tornadoes. And so she was talking about tornadoes, tornadoes, tornadoes one day, that it was like kind of cloudy out, and I was like, oh no, she's gonna make my daughter afraid of tornadoes. And so my daughter will like just start running and go, wow, it's a tornado, and she learned that. But I'm just like, oh no, it's okay, like we're inside, there's no tornado around us, and just different things like that. And we showed her a picture of a tornado. So coming up this next year, I want to talk about more of the things that like some of the bad stuff nature has to offer, but not in a scary way where she would be afraid of it. Now, how I've tried to get my daughter not to be afraid of like nature is we will actually go outside when it's raining. We'll take our umbrellas, like if it's lightly raining. If it's like downpouring or really super windy, we watch from a window, and maybe I'll crack the window so she can feel the rush of the air and just different things like that. I've had her like stand and like have her smell a flower, have her smell a leaf, and just have all the smells, or how it smells after rain, or how rain feels on your skin. All of that stuff is just kind of like just introducing her to nature and everything that it has to offer. I think this coming winter is going to be very interesting, well, fall and winter, because she's actually going to, we've been talking about seasons and things in like our learning time and stuff like that, and so we've been talking about all the seasons, and she remembers spring and she knows that we're in summer, and we talk about fall, and it's just some of these things she's just going to start like clicking right now, because the weather's cooling off, and well, it's like really hot today, but the weather's going to be cooling off, and then we're going to get into winter, so that will be exciting for her to see the seasons and things like that. Now, how we have started talking to our daughter about the environment is how we need to keep things clean. And I know like some people don't agree with me about this, but if there's trash in the park, I and my daughter will pick it up and we will go put it in the trash can, because whoever left it there like didn't feel the need that they needed to throw it in the trash can. All of our parks in our community have trash cans, and people just don't like decide to like use them, I guess, for whatever reason. But we do like pick up trash in a park, and I know that there's like lots of stuff like you should wear gloves or like pick it up with a stick or something like that. But if it's like a drink cup or something like that, we always wash our hands after the park. So we do have her like start picking up trash, that we need to keep the parks clean, we need to keep the streets clean. We live on a like busier street in our community, and so for whatever reason people throw their trash out the windows of their cars, so we will have trash in our yard. So we pick it up and we take it and we throw it away. So just kind of like keeping things like clean and nice and not being like destructive to like the earth and the planet. We're just starting to like talk about that kind of stuff. We do recycling, and so we talk about like, okay, well, we don't throw this away in the garbage because the garbage goes to a landfill. And I actually showed my daughter a picture of a landfill. I just like Googled it on images and showed her a landfill, and I'm like, all of our trash has to go somewhere. It doesn't just disappear when the garbage man picks it up. And we've become very conscious of how much we throw away since just this last, like the beginning of this year. So for the last like 8 months, almost like 9 months, we've been just paying attention to everything that we throw away, and what we can recycle, we are. And it makes us feel good, and we're teaching our daughter like a good skill. We're like, okay, like, can this be recycled or is this trash? So my daughter kind of decides if it can be recycled or if it's trash. And if it's recycled, we ask her which bin it goes into. We have like cans. I did do a video on our recycle like center thing that we have in our kitchen. Our kitchen is tiny, so the recycling center is like huge in our like kitchen area, but it's a reminder right there that we need to recycle. So we have like cans, plastic, glass, aluminum, tin, paper, cardboard, cartons, and just all of that kind of stuff. Anything that our recycling center takes, we have a bin for it and we recycle it. And the rest of the stuff does get thrown in the trash, which I've kind of like been thinking about ways that we could solve like our like less like waste and like trash and the landfill kind of stuff. But this year's step was to do the recycling, and we have done awesome with it. And my daughter loves to like pitch in and help out. And just another couple of things that we just do for like environment kind of things is we try to like teach our daughter to shut lights off when she's not in a room, or shut the water off while she's brushing her teeth, and like not to take forever to like wash her hands, and not to just get a glass of water, dump it out, get a glass of water, dump it out, get a glass of water, dump it out. She did that a few times, but we try to keep that for bath time when the water is all staying in the bath. But anyways, those are just a few things that we do. Again, I did a like composting, adventures in composting video, and I've done videos on our recycling and things like that. I showed our pot garden, or our garden that's in pots. I have to make sure I say that correctly. I've showed that before, but if you want to look back for those videos, you sure can. Otherwise, that is just how we kind of started off teaching our daughter about nature and the environment. So if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for little ones, I would be very interested in hearing. But yes, anyways, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will talk to you tomorrow for VEDA day number 24. Bye, guys.